What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Franchise Play, and I'm here with my man Smallz, Alex Smallz, and this is the Fighting Words, and we're talking boxing.
The fight game, Brian! What a weekend of fights! Can you believe what you saw on HBO?
Yes.
What you saw on pay-per-views? It was a heck of a weekend, Brian. What are we gonna do? What do we start off today with?
I'm trying to tell you know what, and somebody clearly has had about 48 Red Bulls on the way to on the way home because he's fired up.
I watched the first 2 rounds of Triple G about 5 times. Now I'm ready. I'm here. I'm here now.
You're good. I'm telling you, man. Well, I mean, that's obviously where we need to start. We definitely need to start with Triple G because, I mean, obviously that's what everybody's talking about. If anybody's followed me, they know that I am not necessarily jumping all over the Triple G bandwagon like some people are.
He hasn't won you over yet. He has not won you over.
No, he doesn't have me in the palm of his hands as he has everybody else. I mean, does he look great in the fights that I've seen him in? Absolutely. But at the same token, man, his best wins. I mean, just think about it. Who is this guy's best wins against?
Well, look, I'm gonna give you a list before you start laughing. I'm just gonna run through a couple names. As the quote Stephen A. David Lemieux. David Lemieux was a guy who had a belt and he was undefeated. That was a good pay-per-view. I don't know about the best opponent. Daniel Gill, Martin Murray, Rosado, Marco Antonio Rubio.
I mean, but just
William Monroe Jr. and Senior.
Right, he beat him and his daddy. But I don't think that any of that at this point is something that you could say is impressive right now. You know, I mean, come on, man. I mean, yes, he destroyed Dominic Wade inside of 2 rounds, a guy who clearly had no business in the ring with him. I mean, do you ever wonder, this is something that I got into a little back and forth with somebody, man, and I was telling them, you know, Floyd got held to such a higher standard than some of these other guys are. Floyd fought and beat more Hall of Famers than Golovkin will even sniff in his career. Now, of course, people say, oh, well, Floyd fought him when they were this, or Floyd fought him when they were that. Well, Golovkin hasn't fought him at all. So, I mean, I have no idea, man. I just, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's really crazy to me. I don't know, man. What, I mean, were you impressed with what you saw?
Brian Mazik, I don't know if I was impressed because I knew exactly what was going to happen. There was a reason why if you bet $1 million on Triple G, you would only gotten back 8,000 on Saturday night.
That's right.
Because he was such a huge. It's just the way he is. It just impresses people. It's his technique. It's his density. It's like he's just a strong, thick dude, and he hits so hard. He's fun to watch. He's letting dudes punch him in the face for like 30 seconds at a time sometimes. He has the skills to pay the bills, but he's never gone on a promotional tour to get that name out. Clearly with the 100K pay-per-view fights, they were testing that. He's not there yet. We could go with the big Mexican that's fighting on May 7th. That will elevate him. Marvin Hagler needed to fight Roberto Duran and go through that whole press tour, then became a star. Would you agree with that?
I would definitely say so. I mean, and Marvin Hagler had something, and this probably shouldn't even be an issue, but it is in reality. Marvin Hagler could speak English, and obviously that would more connect him with the major body boxing audience or the American boxing audience. And that's something, obviously, that Triple G is seeking. That's what he wants. He wants to connect with the American audience. And he's doing his best to do that, but at the same token, and I'm not so much knocking Triple G. What I'm saying is, can he beat somebody of some level, of some substance, before we go nuts and say, I mean, I heard Max Kellerman say There is no way Floyd Mayweather Jr. would go 12 rounds with Golovkin. And you basing that off what, Dominic Wade?
He's basing it off the power, the size, and he's banking that Gennady won't let Floyd move the way Floyd controls and moves a fight. That's the basis, is that Gennady can cut him off and Floyd can't dance around and move him, which is, in my opinion, kind of silly because Floyd can do pretty much anything he wants to anybody because he's such a master of his game. It's a battle of can Gennady enforce his game on Floyd, and that's the fight will never happen, and I really don't know what. I think it's a coin toss. Does he beat Billy Joe Saunders, Brian? He kills him. He kills Billy Joe Saunders. Does he beat Daniel Jacobs? I think he knocks out Daniel Jacobs. Does he beat Kid Chocolate? I think he beats Kid Chocolate. Does he beat Triple G? I think he beats Triple G. Does he beat Cotto? He sure as hell beats Cotto. So it's like he is the consensus lineal middleweight champion when you look at it like that. In terms of on paper, no, he's not. He's not. He's interim WBC right now because of Canelo. And obviously he's interim WBO because that's Saunders' belt right now. So we're basing it off consensus, not actual fights like Floyd. Floyd's fighting everybody on paper.
I mean, honestly, man, I wouldn't disagree that he would beat if you were asking me to pick and say, you know, him head up against Danny Jacobs, who wins? Him head up against obviously Peter Quillen, because Peter Quillen I think is absolutely done mentally. He's done.
Wow.
Him and Billy Joe Saunders, I would pick Golovkin. But here's my issue: he hasn't done it yet.
But is it that because he's boxing's boogeyman, or is it that it's Loeffler, Tom Loeffler, his promoter, for people who don't know, K2 Promotions, handles Gennady as well. Is it him being like, I don't want to expose him because we have a nice little HBO thing, but I feel like he's trying to go to Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya and to every other promoter, let's make this fight happen. But he's the under. There's no money to be made. If Triple G was a star, if he was pulling in 7-figure pay-per-views, promoters probably wouldn't care. Like, okay, he's going to knock my guy out, but at least we're going to get a nice payday.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I don't know that Golovkin's a pay-per-view guy, but I definitely think that he has built up the following right now to be someone who, I mean, they just put the numbers out. The fight against Wade was the most watched HBO fight of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's obviously a precursor to a pay-per-view event. You know, when you beat up a guy named Dominic Wade and you got the most watched fight on HBO, and we're already 4 months into the year, I think that definitely says something. I think, you know, people are buying in. They're buying into him, man, because he has a likable demeanor and he knocks people out.
He's fun to watch. It helped that HBO was free this weekend. That was really clutch for a lot of people who we know hear about him. He's been in an Apple commercial. He's just signed with Tecate. He's the third boxer to ever be signed to Jordan Brand.
Right.
He's been doing a ton of media locally out here. Every news station the week before, he was there. He was doing a lot of media, so he's starting to get that little train going. Does he have to do way more media? Yeah. Yeah, his English has to get better as well because he needs a translator. So it's really hard for him. Did I lose you?
No, actually, no. I mean, I agree with all of that, man. I definitely agree that he is working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all from the promotional standpoint. But I'm not even talking about him as a draw so much. I think he's proving already to be a draw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the actual respect of being an elite fighter.
Because he has
to me, you have to beat people to get that respect. And I don't, but I mean, Daniel Gio, Matthew Macklin,
right?
Gabriel Rosado, David Lemieux. These are not elite middleweights, man. These are not elite middleweights, and
they're top 10.
They're top 10 and they're top 10 technically, but they're not guys. I mean, we got people elevating Gennady Golovkin to a place where he's no lower than third on pound for pound list.
Right.
And at this point, to have not beaten anybody, I just find that to be crazy. You know, and would I be shocked if he beats Danny Jacobs, if he beats Billy Joe Saunders, and he beats Canelo? No, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Not at all.
But let him do it first.
Let him do it. And in what way he'll do it, too. It's like, if he comes out and decisions those 3 dudes, that luster's gone. It's like, okay, cool.
I think it's gone to the casual fan who is doped up and addicted to knockouts, and that's the only thing that they respect.
Right.
You know, but I like the sweet science. You know, if you want to watch bum fights, I'm quite sure you can go on Amazon and get it for like $4.99.
Those people aren't watching Guillermo Bergandio.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're not. Yeah, I mean, you're not watching. Those guys are not watching the Jackal. They're not watching They're not watching El Chacal.
Right.
Because that's. And he actually had a quote that was very similar to that. He was like, if you want to watch bum fights, go down to your local watering hole and watch some guys get into a fight. He said, what I do is a science. And that's actually what I actually more lean towards. But if your thing is you knock guys out, I get it. I'm cool with that. I understand. That's take it out of the judge's hands. I get that. And so I'm not knocking. I mean, who's going to knock a guy with 22 consecutive knockout wins? 36-0 with 33 knockouts, or 35-0 with 32 knockouts, something like that. Right. I mean, the record's amazing, man. The record's amazing. You cannot knock the record at all. My point, like I said, is I think we got things a little. The hype and the praise is a little bit accelerated, and it's about the HBO machine, though. And I understand from a business standpoint, this is what they're doing. They are pushing Golovkin. They would love for Golovkin to be. Right now, I think they're trying to determine, is our guy going to be Golovkin or is our guy going to be Canelo to succeed Manny as the #1 HBO guy? Or are we going to say it's both of them? But you really can't say it's both of them because they're in the same weight class, supposedly.
Unless Canelo goes back to 54, right?
But he's never. That's another whole episode of the Fighting Words altogether. This guy's holding a 160-pound title and he's never fought at 160 pounds.
That's
which is absolutely ridiculous. That's Canelo. Yeah. So because those two guys are in the same weight region, it may be difficult for them both to coexist as the man on the HBO banner. So honestly, if I'm HBO, I want Canelo to beat him because Canelo has a better built-in built-in audience than Golovkin.
Yep.
So I don't know what happens there, but I mean, for me, if I'm just looking at it from a business standpoint, that's what I want. I want Canelo to win. I don't personally care which one of them win. I don't have if they fight at all. Some people are of the opinion that they won't fight.
I'm almost in that boat, Brian. I feel like May of next year is the cutoff for that fight. I really do, because Gennady is 34, going to go on 35, and Canelo, I just don't think they're going to fight in September at all. I really do think Canelo is just going to let that belt go. And he may fight a guy like Manny Pacquiao, or he may fight a guy like, you know what I mean? I mean, Amir Khan is. We'll save that for next week, but that's neither here nor there.
Did we lose you, Smallz? Because you got paused real quick. So if we lost Smallz, I know he will be checking back in. But we were right about at the end. We're about to move on. Actually, we were already kind of talking about some of what we were going to go into next, which is who's next for Triple G. So obviously, he just dominated Dominic Wade. And Canelo has a fight coming up with Amir Khan in the first week of May. So the expectation of many fight fans right now is for Canelo. And I think we just got Smallz back.
I'm here.
All right. It happens. It happens. Blame the internet. That's what I do. Okay. But what I was saying, we're moving into that next segment, which we were already kind of talking about, which is who's next for Triple G. We just defeated Dominic Wade easily, and we know Canelo and Amir Khan are going to be fighting on May 6th, I believe. Was it May 6th or May 8th? I lose track.
You missed it, May 7th.
May 7th. I was in the middle. Always go to the middle. So yeah, on May 7th. So if Canelo beats Amir Khan, which a lot of people expect will happen, then ideally we'd like to see Canelo take on Triple G in September. You were just saying you don't think that's going to happen.
I don't
think it's going to happen either.
No.
So if it doesn't happen, here's what we've read. The WBA has said that they're going to mandate Triple G to face Danny Jacobs.
Wow. Now that's a good fight.
I think that's a good fight. I think he just destroys Danny Jacobs.
It's not pay-per-view level, though, right, Brian? You can't throw Danny Jacobs on pay-per-view. It'd be sick if HBO let him go, like, to Spike, or, I'm sorry, not Spike, like NBC or something. How sick would Triple G on PBC be? I feel like that for one fight, HBO won't let it happen, though. Maybe it's like, I gave you Khan, I'll give you Adonis Stevenson, let's put Triple G on NBC. You know what I mean? What happened to Brian?
I do think that I think that putting him back on, I think putting him on PBC would be amazing. I doubt that that'll ever happen, though.
Right.
There's no way in the world I can imagine Top Rank and HBO allowing who could be their absolute cash cow to fight on the other network. If they fight, to me it has to be a pay-per-view. It has to be, because that's the only way.
Jacobs and Triple G, a pay-per-view?
It has to be, because it's the only way that both HBO and Showtime can get a piece of the money. Because if you put it on HBO, it cuts Showtime out. If you put it on Showtime, it cuts HBO out. The only way is if they have some sort of joint venture.
Daniel Jacobs is a Showtime guy, right?
Right.
He does work with Showtime exclusively.
Right. So to me, it would have to be a pay-per-view. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a great fight. I think it's actually a great fight for Triple G. Reason being is because I just don't see Danny Jacobs beating him. I think Danny could create some questions in the minds of some people. I think, sometimes you see a guy lose a fight or you see a guy win a fight, but you finally see him look somewhat vulnerable in a fight, even though he ultimately wins. I think Danny's athleticism and power could create a different situation that we've yet to see with Triple G, but he still gets stopped within 5 rounds.
Wow. I agree. And I'm really happy that I think for a time there was too many belts, and I feel like the bodies are trying to like go back to just one belt or more unified in a way. Because there's like 6 different levels of the middleweight title. There's the interim, the Emirates, the Platinum, the Latin America. There's way too many. So I feel like with all this mandatory stuff, they're trying to go back in.
The WBA is definitely, I think, making an effort to do it. They have a heavyweight tournament going on right now to crown one heavyweight. It's gotten a little bit clouded because Lucas Brown failed the drug test after he won the regular title. So it's a little weird now. But yeah, I definitely think, I think the sport realizes that, especially with Floyd retiring, they're going to, and the rise in popularity of the UFC, there's certain things that have to change in order to maintain the current fan base and to draw some new people over. And I think some legitimacy is where that stuff is coming from. But I don't know, man. Billy Joe Saunders, of course, we're going to talk about him a little bit later. But he fights Saturday, so the timetable lines up properly.
He hurt his hand.
You know what he did? He hurt his hand. He's out. We talked about that last week.
Yep.
So he was supposed to fight then. So, but here's the thing: with him out and having hurt his hand, do you think did he really hurt his hand, or is he trying to remain healthy and give himself a little bit extra time to prepare for Triple G? Because he has said that if and I just read this a couple days ago, that if Triple G doesn't fight Canelo, then he wants to fight him. He'll take the offer now.
We should have taken the offer originally. Maybe
you know what, he's got a Charles Martin type of a title right now, because he knows this. As soon as he faces a real deal challenger, he's gonna lose that belt, and he and his handlers know that.
But Billy Joe loses to everybody in the middleweight division.
I think Billy Joe
Jacobs, he loses to Chocolate. He loses to, I think they fought already.
He won't lose. He'll probably beat Kid Chocolate.
Loses to Canelo.
Loses, yeah.
And then Triple G.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what would be a good fight for Billy Joe Saunders if his opponent could make the weight right about now? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Oh my God!
If he could make the weight,
that guy fight Triple G. Can we get that? Would sell a lot.
Oh, that would sell. He actually said earlier today that he wants to fight, but nobody's taking it serious because nobody believes that Junior can make 160 pounds. He can't even make 168.
Can't make 168.
So, but it would sell a lot. And one thing that would be interesting because, Chavez has an amazing chin. If nothing else, he has an amazing chin.
He got a great chin.
But he's going to get beat up.
Yeah.
And
it probably stopped.
Yeah, he got to get stopped. And the refs got to step in and say, okay, please don't beat the man anymore.
That's another Chris Eubank, Nick Blackwell situation.
It could be. Well, I don't know. Chavez is so big and strong. I don't know if that would happen, but
he's with Roach, right? So, but Roach looks out for his fighters. He let Pascal go more.
Hopefully he throw the towel in for him because he need it.
Yeah,
he definitely need it. So I don't know, man. I mean, Triple G. I admire the fact that he seems to be hell bent on unifying the 160 titles. I admire that, right? Because he could say, I'm going to 168, and there's nothing there.
Oh my gosh, he would have destroyed Arthur Abraham.
Yeah. Oh my God,
he would have won those titles in a heartbeat.
Yeah, first or second round.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. Robert Stieglitz and those type of guys. There's nothing there, right? I mean,
real contenders are who we're going to talk about later in the show. Is that who would give Triple G issues?
I don't even think Chunky, DeGale, or Badu Jack give him issues.
Holy.
I don't think the Darrell brothers give him issues.
So there's only one dude, and he lives in Oakland, California.
And he's not 168. He's not 168 anymore.
Yes, yeah.
And he'll never be 168 again.
Can't make it anymore, huh?
He probably, maybe he could. Maybe Andre Ward could. But Ward is focused on Kovalev right now.
Right. That's true.
And with good reason.
Yeah.
With good reason. Because to me, Kovalev has proven much more than Golovkin. And if you want to put a guy towards the top of the pound for pound list, I believe that Kovalev deserves to be there more than Golovkin. He's beaten better people.
Bernard Hopkins, Pascal twice. So active. I really like that about him.
Yeah, I mean, and he's about to beat up Isaac Chilemba, which
on a Monday in Russia.
Right. So it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think he deserves a little bit more love. But let's jump a little bit into some of these fights it's a pretty big weekend. I believe there are 6 fights this weekend.
No Chocolatito?
Oh, why do I keep forgetting the Nicaraguan?
Let's give the little man a little time here.
I keep forgetting the Nicaraguan.
The beat.
You know what? That fight was actually good. I mean, it was a complete one-sided, win for Chocolatito. But I thought that McWilliams Arroyo really made a good account of himself, man. I think he would have beat just about any other fighter in that division except for Chocolatito.
Hold on, something's going on outside. Continue your point. I'll hear you.
Oh, I personally, man, I thought that he fought a really good fight. I would have probably given Arroyo 2 rounds. I don't think any judge gave him more than 1. But yeah, I don't know. I thought he fought a good fight, but that just shows you Chocolatito has he is just, I mean, he never stops coming.
Yeah.
And he never stops coming, throwing combinations and throwing hard combinations. The one thing that I think I might have mentioned this last week, the single greatest talent that a fighter can have, in my opinion, is the ability to adjust. Most fighters, if you have a good plan A, you're going to beat them. It's just that simple. They're not going to be able to make the adjustments. The greatest fighters are able to say, okay, you're doing this, right, do this. Or they come in with no game plan at all and tailor it to whatever you're doing in the fight.
Right.
Chocolatito has shown me that he's able to do that on 2 different occasions. Did it against Valoria, and I felt that he did it against McWilliams Arroyo as well.
Yeah.
And I also think he did it against Juan Francisco Estrada, which is the only fight that really makes any sense for him to have again.
Yup. That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing for me. I mean, that's a very underrated skill. You don't hear people talk about that a lot, but all of the greats can adjust.
Yeah, I would say adjustments and controlling the opponent are probably the two biggest things. Most common is control and adjustments. Chocolatito was sick. McWilliams Arroyo put up a hell of a fight, man. I mean, Max Kellerman was like the only one giving him props in that booth.
Yeah.
I've seen Chocolatito fight live. I've never heard somebody hit that hard, that small. It's like a drum when he punches, and it's sick the way he moves. One-sided beatdown. I thought he won it 10 rounds at least.
Yep.
Good work, fun to watch, exciting, and it's just cool to see people going and oh for a guy who's 112 pounds. Like that is awesome to see. He's going to go up to 115 pretty soon. He could fight Arroyo's brother, who has a belt at the 115-pound division. I don't think he's going to move up. The big fight, as you said, Brian, you'll probably agree with me, is Gallito Estrada 2. That was a great fight in Mexico. Chocolatito said he was sick into that fight. We still want a decision. We'll see. I'd like to see them fight on American soil or Nicaraguan soil, since that last fight was in Mexico. I also think a great fight is the Japanese dude who is undefeated. I believe he was an Olympian. He already has a belt. His name is slipping my mind, but you know who I'm talking about. Sick body shots, sick body work.
You're not talking about Uchiyama, right?
No, Uchiyama is fighting Corrales.
Yeah, and that's junior lightweight.
I'm slipping my mind. He's a sick Olympian. He might be at 115 right now, but they're talking about him.
I believe I do know who his name is actually is slipping by me right now.
He has a great video done by Lee Wiley. If people want to see a breakdown of this guy, his great body work, really check it out. That's a great fight. And here's a little cool fight nobody's talking about: Chocolatito versus Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Yeah,
they straight up to the same weight. They're the same weight when they walk into the ring.
I think you're talking about Koki Kameda.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's
undefeated.
I don't know if he's undefeated, but I think that's who you're talking about, though. He is I believe he is a 115-pound champion. If anybody in the comment section knows, definitely feel free to chime in with that. But yeah, I think that's who you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think Estrada is the only guy. I think the only guy that can challenge Chocolatito at this stage. Now, once Chocolatito gets a little bit older and maybe loses a step, I think then it opens up the division of the weight region for him to be contested a little bit more. But right about now, man, I think this guy is easily the class of the weight region. It's hard for me to. Some people are saying pound for pound. What's his name?
Inoue Inoue. That's who I was talking about.
Inoue. So it's that Inoue, right? I think.
Inoue.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's bad. 9-0, just knocks everybody out.
Yes, because he has the. Right. Because his record is his professional record is kind of modest, but it's because he stayed as an amateur for so long.
Yeah, he's got the Lomachenko push right now. He's basically Japanese Lomachenko.
And Rigondeaux was before that, but he gets love now. Rigondeaux was the guy that had the sparkling amateur record, and hardly no fights. Nobody respected his professional pedigree until he dominated Nonito Donaire, and then he got the credit. Same kind of thing happened with Vasil Lomachenko, though, because Lomachenko wasn't getting any respect until he beat Gary Russell Jr.
Right.
He fought Orlando Salido and was dominated early, but he came on late and took control of the fight. And he started to get a little bit of respect there. But then when he beat Gary Russell Jr., by majority decision, that's when Lomachenko started to get the love. So I don't know, man. But one of the I brought up Takashi Uchiyama fighting Jezreel Corrales for defending his junior lightweight title. Have you got an opportunity to see either of those guys fight?
I believe they're fighting tonight. No, or they're fighting today.
I thought they. I think no. They fight. No, they fight. I believe it's Thursday. I think they fight. Let's double check.
Well, Thursday in Japan time, which is Wednesday.
Exactly.
The fight happened already.
Let's see. You know, you're actually correct.
It did, right? It did happen.
You're actually correct. And Corrales knocked Uchiyama out in the second round.
Holy! So Giselle Corrales is the new junior lightweight champion.
He's the new junior lightweight champion. That actually just happened.
It just happened.
Just like in the last hour.
Uchiyama was undefeated.
Not anymore.
He was 19-0, and he's now 19-1. Dang! And he lost on home soil.
Yeah, it actually what it looks like is that odds started to plummet for Uchiyama close to the fight because word got out that he had really struggled to make weight. He had to do a 2-hour sauna session just to make the weight.
Oh, he was weak,
and so he was super weak. And Better got word of it, and his odds dropped significantly. And he's actually probably very fortunate that he didn't get sick or more seriously injured after being dropped or knocked out in the second round when he struggled to make weight that way.
You can't get past anything past those Japanese promoters. Everybody, if you're feeling a little sick, they'll know right away. I mean, they just know.
Yeah, he had a 6-year, 3-month stay as the super featherweight champion. But now his unbeaten record. I mean, he had a draw in his career, but this was the first loss. He's 24-1-1 now. He had 20 knockouts, and he had knocked out Juan Carlos Salgado back in January of 2010. That's how he actually got the title. So it's done now. It's absolutely done now.
I wonder if he's Akito Honda promoted. I wonder if he's promoted by Chocolatito's promoter, Honda.
I don't know. I'm not sure who his promoter is, but that's a pretty shocking loss. Sometimes, man, those times really get you, covering boxing gets you really thrown off quite a bit because you look at a time and you have to remember which time zone everything is in. So in Japan, I think they're like 16 hours ahead or 14 hours ahead. So that fight actually just ended like an hour ago.
Wow, there it is. A new champion happened in the middle of this show, guys. In the middle of the show, we found a new junior lightweight champion who hopefully calls out AB. But that's another. AB gonna win this belt off Corrales. It's all a plan.
AB is no way. He's nowhere in the world he's going back down to 130.
Junior lightweight.
Yeah.
Wow, I think he was 140. Wow, junior lightweight is 130. So that's like Santa Cruz and Frampton area.
Yeah.
Who are fighting, which is a great fight coming up.
That is a great fight. I think that's a great fight. I think that's a spectacular fight, actually. I think that could be.
That's kind of a super fight. Two of the best guys in that area. Finally gonna,
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's a super fight. I just think it's a really good fight stylistically because Santa Cruz is a come forward, all action fighter, doesn't have the greatest defense. Frampton is a slick fighter, but I don't know whether or not he's going to be able to handle that type of pressure. Right. The only fighter he fought that brought that type of pressure was Kiko Martinez, but Kiko Martinez is not as skilled and as long as Santa Cruz. And we saw what Santa Cruz did to Kiko Martinez in his last fight. So, I think it's going to be a good fight. We're going to find out how well Frampton can handle body pressure, but it's going to be interesting. Let's go to the next fight, though. We're going to the PBC card.
The Durrell brothers.
Durrell brothers. So you got Anthony Durrell taking on Caleb the Golden Truax and Andre Durrell taking on Blake Caparello. I think both Durrell brothers win these fights. I actually think that I've been following Caleb Truax since he was a really, really lesser known fighter, and he got a shot at Jermaine Taylor in one of Jermaine Taylor's last fights. Wow. And I remember because I wrote up the preview for the fight, right? And I'd said, Jermaine Taylor, this was a fight he should win. I'd watched a couple videos of Caleb Truax. That's all I'd seen of him. But his trainer, or somebody in his camp, emailed me, and they were like, "Look, I know you've never heard of Caleb Truax, but hey, our guy is going to give Jermaine. We're not saying he's going to win, but our guy." It was super, super honest the way they came to me. They're like, we're not saying he's going to win, but he's going to give Jermaine Taylor a much tougher fight than you expect. And true enough, he actually did give Jermaine Taylor a little bit tougher fight, but we would later find out that perhaps he gave Jermaine Taylor a tougher fight because Jermaine Taylor had just fallen that far from who he had been before. Right. But they were correct in that. So from that point on, I stopped selling Caleb Truax short, but I do believe we've seen his ceiling. We saw him stopped by Danny Jacobs in one of his last fights. Right. He did rebound to win his next fight, but it was not against a super tough. It was, I believe, the guy he beat's name was Betancourt. It wasn't a tough fight at all, by opponent standards. So I don't see him giving Darrell too much of an issue. Anthony Darrell is super hungry right now. He wants another shot at Badou Jack. He lost his title to Badou Jack. Yeah. He destroyed Marco Antonio Rubio in his So I think Darrell won't have an issue at all. Do you see that going any different?
Yeah, I don't see any issues for either brother. I'm looking over my notes here, and it was Andre Darrell who lost to DeGale, right? James DeGale beat him.
Yes.
And he's the same guy who got that DQ win, right? From
Arthur Abraham.
When that Super 6 tournament was happening.
Yes. Okay. It was actually one of the funniest. It shouldn't be funny.
He sold the hell out of that.
Funny. No, he got hit good, and it was so funny because he didn't realize he had won.
Right.
Watch the video when he gets up. They're like, "Come on, man, get yourself together. What's going on?" And they said, "What's going on with you?" He's like, "I got caught with a shot. I got caught with a shot." They were like, "Bro, you won the fight. It was after the bell." And he's like, "What? What?" He didn't even. So I know he got hit good because he didn't even know what had happened.
Yeah.
So it was, but he actually lost a little bit of respect, I think, when that happened. He went away for a long time because a lot of people felt that he had the talent to win that Super 6 tournament.
Mm-hmm. He lost that close fight to Carl Froch too. That was a close fight.
Yeah.
That was a very close fight.
Yeah. I don't know. I think ultimately what you're going to probably end up seeing though is because both of those guys in the same weight region there, you're going to see them try to get the Darrell brothers in there against each other. I'm totally against that kind of stuff.
Never. I hate seeing that.
I hate seeing that stuff, man. They tried to do that with the Charlo brothers as well. I hope they never succumb to it. One thing I've always respected about the Klitschko brothers because they tried to get that going with them as well. Yeah. We actually saw that happen. It was way back in the 70s though. Mike Quarry and Jerry Quarry actually fought each other for the right to fight Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
Yeah, they had that. That was like the eliminator fight. And I don't know of another time that it's happened in boxing. It may have, but that's the only one I know
of a set of brothers that the Ruelas brothers never fought each other. Gabriel and
Raphael, no,
they never fought.
So I don't know, and the Peterson brothers haven't fought, Lamont and Anthony. So yeah, I don't know of another time that it's happened. But I remember watching an interview with the Charlo brothers, and one of the brothers said he would fight him, and they're twins, so they're not just brothers; they're twins.
Wow!
And he said but the other one was like, "No, man, I wouldn't fight my brother, whatever." But yeah, I don't think that happens. But Andre Darrell's going to handle Blake Caparello no problem. Caparello has like 6 knockouts in his career, and I think this guy was chosen for Andre for a reason.
Oh, Hammond.
Yeah, it's a guy Andre can look good against. Andre Darrell's a good fighter. He is a talented fighter. He misses.
Andre's better than Anthony in your opinion, right?
I think Andre is more skilled than Anthony, but I think that Anthony is more of a fighter.
Got it.
And I think that's the difference. Anthony's tougher. Andre Darrell I think has more physical skills. But chin wise, I think Anthony has a stronger chin, and he's just a more a rugged guy. I mean, but you think about it, Anthony's been through a lot. Anthony's a cancer survivor,
right?
He's been through a lot, and he survived a motorcycle accident that cost him almost his life and his career. So this is a tough dude. This is a real tough dude, and I think you see that toughness edge from him over his brother when you see him in the ring. So, but I think both of them win without a problem on Friday. Still in that same division, Badu Jack is defending his title against Lucian Bute. Bute looked pretty good in defeat in his last fight against James DeGale.
Yeah,
but
not gonna happen. Not gonna be able to do it, Brian.
You know what you got? You got Badu Jack.
I got Badu Jack winning. You know, I look at Badu Jack's record. He only lost that knockout to Derek Edwards. That was so random. I barely remember that. And then that was like 2 years ago. Ever since then, he Escalera, Sierra, Durrell, and George Groves. Nice little streak there. Nothing too exciting. I like to see him fight. I like Badu Jack. Badu Jack's gonna win this fight. He'll retain.
Yeah, I think so too. I liked what I saw from Bute, and Bute is definitely a skilled guy. Bute also showed some toughness in the fight against DeGale. Right. But Badu Jack is an excellent counterpuncher, an excellent body puncher. He wears guys down, and I see him constantly coming forward, constantly working the body against Bute. Now Bute has a classic left hook to the body. So that's something that Badu is definitely going to have to protect against. But I think he ultimately wears Lucian Bute down and takes that fight as well. So, yeah, I don't think. But now, here's the thing. Are we ever going to see Badu Jack and James DeGale in the ring in a unification bout for the 168-pound title?
Now, let's think about it here. Let's think. James DeGale is he's fighting on...
I think here's his Saturday as well. He's fighting Rogelio Medina.
Yeah, but he's not. Is he fighting on the night slot as well, or is he fighting on an overseas time slot?
I believe he is fighting on a night slot on Showtime. I think
Badu Jack on Showtime as well.
I think it's a double header. Let's double check though. I believe it's a double header on the same card. Let's see. I believe that's what it is. I don't think that James DeGale is fighting. You know, because what you're seeing a lot now, I could be wrong. We'll know in a second. What you're seeing a lot now is some of the cards over in London, especially any of those fighters that are associated with Showtime.
Yeah,
those guys are fighting in American prime time slots a lot more. Yeah, they're on the same card on April 30th. It starts at 10 p.m. Eastern time. 2 super middleweight championship fights. So you got the Jack fight in Jack and Bute, and then you got the DeGale and Medina. So they're obviously setting those two guys up for a unification bout. Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't think anybody would argue. I think Badu Jack has a tougher assignment on Saturday night. You know, do you? I mean, how much have you seen of Rogelio Porky Medina?
Not very much. I've seen Badu, Lucian, and DeGale a lot more.
Yep.
Which, by default, sorry, boxing superheads watching right now. I'm picking James DeGale because he's a great fighter. What I see from James DeGale is he's a great fighter. I love the way he moves. I love the way he throws his jab. I think he's a great fighter. And for me, it's hard to see somebody beating him.
I think that I don't know if I would call him a great fighter, but I do think he's a very solid fighter. The Rogelio Medina he has a lot of fights, but he has not faced anyone of note aside from Jalen Love. Now he did knock out Jalen Love back in August of 2014. But anybody who's seen Jalen Love fight, then you know that he's. Now, actually, Medina fought Badu Jack a few fights before that, and Badu Jack finished him in 2013. So he's faced a couple guys that we've heard of, but not with a ton of success. So I don't know. I from what I'm looking at here, it would be difficult for me to say he beats James DeGale.
Right.
So I mean, he's 36-6, and he has 30 knockouts. So he definitely brings a punch. He stopped. He's won his last 4 fights by knockouts, but and one of those fights, one of those knockout wins is Jay Leon Love. But before that four fight win streak, he had lost 3 of his last 4 fights. And actually, he just recently began fighting in outside of his native Mexico. He hadn't fought anywhere in his career except Mexico up until December of 2013 when he lost by TKO to Badu Jack. So he's not really the experience, I think, can be a little bit deceiving because it hasn't come against top-notch talent. So we'll see what happens with Medina. I think everyone would be shocked. Probably even Medina would be shocked if he's able to beat James DeGale. Let's move into the last fight, and I'm sure we'll probably get Smallz back to chime in on this last fight. I know he is passionate about this particular fight. Victor Ortiz rematch against Andre Berto. The first fight that they had was really a classic. I don't think anybody would mistake either of these guys for an elite fighter, at least especially not at this stage in their careers. Berto at one point was highly touted, as was Victor Ortiz, but both of those guys' status has come down quite a bit. This is a fight that is designed to specifically be a fight that is hopefully going to capture the excitement that the first fight had. Ortiz Berto 1 was a classic.
That was a sick fight, Brian.
It was great.
There was one round in that fight where they both went down. I don't know if that was the 8th or the 10th.
I think it was the 8th round.
Right, it was the 8th, and I think it was Ortiz who went down first, and I was like, oh, it's over. Ortiz is going to quit again. And then Berto went squealy legs, and then he went. That was a great fight. I don't know why that fight was randomly in the middle of like the East Coast. I think it was in Atlantic City or like Connecticut or something. Mm-hmm. Now this one is back like closer to home soil for both of these guys.
Yeah, I do think I actually caught a lot of flack for this once. It was Victor Ortiz's fight against Josecito Lopez. I did a recap of the fight, right? And obviously we know about Victor's history of quitting. And in that fight, Josecito Lopez broke Victor's jaw and Victor quit. And so, I am not in any way trying to downplay a broken jaw. I understand the pain level of that it has to be amazing. But when you have continually quit in the middle of fights, he did it against Marcos Rene Maidana. He was actually looking for a way out against Floyd Mayweather. Once he realized he couldn't beat the headbutts, that's what that was about. He was looking for a way out of the fight. He was going to try to foul his way out of the fight. I question in a major way the mental toughness, Victor Ortiz's mental toughness. I do not question Andre Berto's mental toughness. Andre Berto is a game fighter, doesn't always fight smart, but he is a game fighter. And at this point, I think that Andre Berto has more in the tank than Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz has been off away from fighting. He's been dancing with stars, and he's been pursuing a movie career. Last time I think we saw him in the ring, we saw him get knocked out by Luis Collazo. Berto, this is potentially one last decent payday for Ortiz. I think that's how this is designed. I think that's how this is set up. I would not be shocked to see him blown out within the first 4 to 5 rounds. And it's not because I think Andre Berto is so great. It's just because I don't think there is hardly anything left in the tank for Victor Ortiz. Not hardly anything. So that's just the way I see it. Absolutely in the comment section, if you guys feel that there's something different that's going on, I encourage you to chime in about anything that we talked about today. Smallz is obviously having some technical difficulties. We're working to try to get this together, but I'm going to go ahead and close out. And on his behalf, I appreciate you watching Fighting Words. God bless. Peace.